welcome to the 6th Primary Sense Lunchbox session. Today we'll focus on Primary Sense medication safety alerts. My name is Harry Howell and I'm the Senior Project Officer here at Gold Coast Primary Health Network. Gold Coast PHN would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the traditional custodians of the land upon which we meet today, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Just some housekeeping before we do start. This meeting is being recorded, so it may be shared as a resource for later. So please keep your cameras off and microphones muted. And there'll be an opportunity for questions at the end of today's session. Primary Sense medication safety alerts. These are an alert, which is a real-time notification of potential safety issues when the general practitioner starts to prescribe a pre-identified medication for the patient. Medication safety alerts are unique to general practitioners only in the practice, meaning any other practice staff, i.e. nurses, practice managers, will not receive medication safety alerts. The list of Primary Sense medication alerts were determined by a clinical reference group who searched on existing indicators and drug warnings. The clinical reference group completed a review of current GP prescribing guidelines, particularly where drug-related safety issues are an issue. What you can see on this screen now is an example of a Primary Sense medication alert. This would appear in front of the GP as they are prescribing a particular medication. So Primary Sense does check the practice every 2 seconds for a new medication being prescribed to see if the medication is at for risk if it is prescribed. If an alert is triggered, it appears within seconds on the GP screen, which you can see right here on your screen. The GP is presented with the reasons for the alerts and recommendations, further information, and links to information. When the GP does receive the medication alert, they do have 4 options, which you can see here. Appropriate, I'll take action. Appropriate, but I want to override. Inappropriate, wrong for this patient. Remind me again when I repeat this prescription, or not relevant to me. When the GP makes a selection, anything other than remind me next time will disable the alert for that GP, for that patient, for the next 12 months. Not relevant to me is in case the GP is logged on at more than one PC, as the alert will go to both PCs that GP is currently logged into. An example of this would appear for the GP is if the GP was prescribing a fentanyl patch in non-cancer pain. This would trigger a medication alert. If the GP received this alert, they could simply click on appropriate, but they're deciding to override it for this patient. That means if that patient was to visit the GP again 6 months later, they would not receive this medication alert that has been disabled for 12 months due to the GP selecting appropriate, but they want to override. If the GP selected remind me when I repeat this prescription again, the GP then would receive this medication alert, when they do prescribe the medication the next time. What you see now is a list of all the Primary Sense medication alerts that are currently live in the Primary Sense tool. We won't go through these one by one, but I will point to one as an example, prescribing an antipsychotic drug without lab test results within the last 12 months. That would trigger a Primary Sense medication alert for the GP. And this screen here, once again, is the remaining Primary Sense medication alerts. An example on this page is prescribing a fentanyl patch where there is no cancer, non-cancer pain recorded for that patient. GPs can also log out of receiving particular medication alerts, which I will show you very shortly on my screen. All the GP would be required to do is click on the Primary Sense application, just like this. Click on Alerts. When I receive this screen, the GP will then click on Settings and then double click on any medication alert they wish to turn off. Likewise, if the GP wanted to turn on the medication alert, they would simply follow the same methodology, but now double click on the medication alert they wish to turn on. What you should see on your screen now is the Primary Sense application. Is that correct? So what I'll first show you is a Primary Sense medication alert. As I have the demo application, I can showcase this on my tool currently. If I was a GP and I was prescribing a medication, just before I do go to print the prescription, if a medication alert was triggered for that patient for that particular medication, this screen here would pop up in front of me as the GP. It is telling me that there's a Primary Sense medication alert for this patient for this medication. Here is the possible impairment with prescribing this medication. And here is recommendations that you as a GP can take. From this, you do have the patient's pathology results as well over the last 2 years to help guide your decision making. From this, you can select any of these options. As we were saying before, if you select anything other than remind me next time when I repeat this prescription, this alert will be disabled for this patient for the next 12 months. For this patient here, this medication I believe is safe to prescribe, so I'll select it's appropriate, this medication alert, but I want to override. GPs do have a decision also to add in additional comments here in a free text field if they wish. So I'll select appropriate, but I want to override. And that medication alert has been actioned. There is no need for the GP to start up Primary Sense. If they simply have best practice or medical director open and are prescribing medications, in the back end, Primary Sense will be able to communicate to best practice or medical director before the prescriptions are prescribed. If a GP wishes to turn off particular medication alerts, all they are required to do is click on the Primary Sense desktop app once and scroll down and click Alerts. The GPs will then see the past alerts history they have received. From that, they can click on the alerts again and view them. GPs can also click on Settings once, and this will show all the current Primary Sense medication alerts. As we can see here to the left, every medication alert is currently opted in, which means it is turned on. If I wish to turn off a particular medication alert, I can. I would like to switch off prescription of fentanyl patch in non-cancer pain. That means I will not receive this medication alert when prescribing this particular medication if the patient does not have cancer pain. So I will simply double click. And this is telling me that Primary Sense alert for fentanyl patch has been turned off or opted out. I will not receive this alert again, so I will close this. If I wish to turn this medication alert on again, I'll simply click on Primary Sense click on Alerts, click on Settings. We can see it's currently opted out, which we just did. I will now wish to turn it on. Double click, and it's turned on or opted in. So it's very easy for GPs to opt out or opt in to receive primary sense medication alerts. Thank you for your time today and watching today's session. If you have any further questions, please reach out to the Primary Sense team here at Gold Coast Primary Health Network. Thank you.